So the Brooklyn Nets are in fourth place in the Eastern Conference on a 7-game winning streak right now, and arguably the hottest team in the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets started off this season pretty horrific though, with ugly losses to the Sacramento Kings, Pacers, and Pelicans. However, their season really did change for the better about a month ago when they hired Jacques Vaughn to be their next head coach. He has been a clear difference maker on this team because before they had hired him, when they had Steve Nash, their offensive rating was 111.6, which is 19th in the NBA. Their defensive rating was 118.3, which is 28th in the NBA. And ever since they've had him after November 1st, their offensive rating has been up to 115.7, which is now 6th in the NBA. And their defensive rating is 110.4, which is 9th in the NBA. So he has been an obvious difference maker on this team, and you got to give credit to where credit is due. So early on in the season, we saw that there was some bad blood going on with KD and the rest of the Brooklyn Nets when he said, and I quote, "You expect us to win because I'm out there. So if you're watching this from a lens, you're expecting us to play well because number 7 is out there." He said this about a month and a half ago, and ever since then, the Brooklyn Nets have turned on the Jets. Throughout the last couple of seasons, they did have a pretty talented roster, but couldn't seem to stay healthy or would have to deal with off-the-court issues with Kyrie Irving, and they made a huge blockbuster trade for James Harden and then for Ben Simmons, and I think it's safe to say that both of those two moves definitely altered with the team chemistry. Before we get on into this, my name is Jaden, and I post just about daily videos about the NBA and the NFL. If this type of content is something that you're interested in, then you're at the right place. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get into this. So this Brooklyn Nets team is definitely one of the most interesting teams in the NBA because on paper you would think that they would have won in the past, but as I said, they have dealt with a bunch of injuries and a bunch of off-the-court issues. If this team is fully healthy, they are a matchup nightmare. The duo of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving is quite frankly unguardable, and they have been proving that night in and night out. So far this season, Kevin Durant has been playing like he was before his injury, averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and a block. He's also shooting 56% from the field, which is 15th in the entire NBA. Now, it's a very rare case, but it seems that his Achilles injury back in 2019 really didn't affect his future in the NBA. We've seen superstars like Derrick Rose or Tracy McGrady who were all great in their primes, but after their devastating injuries, they just weren't the same. That's different for Kevin Durant though. He's already back in the race for MVP and is playing at the highest possible level. You don't gotta be a fan of his personality, but you gotta respect his talent. He just goes out there and gives your team buckets. Now, Kyrie Irving is one of the most controversial players in the NBA because of the comments that he has made in press conferences or on social media, even at the beginning of this season. But when his mind is on strictly basketball, he might honestly be the best point guard in the NBA, and that's behind Steph Curry. His handles are honestly out of this world, and he's easily one of the most fun players I've ever watched with my own eyes. So far this season, Kyrie is averaging 26 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and is shooting about 50% from the field. Aside from these two superstars though, the Brooklyn Nets organization have done an amazing job of building a team around them. Center Nicholas Claxton has improved so much from last season to now. He's leading the team in rebounds with 8.6, and he is averaging 12 points per game. There's no telling he would be this good if he didn't have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to catch lobs from. Not taking anything away from Claxton, he's obviously trained very hard to get where he is right now, but Kyrie and KD have both helped elevate his game to the next level, to the point where he can legitimately guard up Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, who are two of the league's best. Now, Ben Simmons' stats haven't looked the prettiest, and they definitely aren't as good as they were when he was on the 76ers, but they have not been bad by any means. He's been the best defender on this team, and yes, before the Nets had traded for him, they were expecting a guy to give you 20 points a night, and he has not been doing that. He's averaging 8 points per game right now, and 8 rebounds and 8 assists, so he's becoming an elite level all-around player. His assist-to-turnover ratio is a lot better this season than it was in Philly, and that definitely has something to do with the fact that he's not the number 1 or the number 2 option anymore, and now it's at a 2.7. If you've watched Brooklyn Nets games, you would definitely see that Ben Simmons plays his role very, very well this season. They don't need him to give you 20 points a night. That's how good this Nets team is. Ben Simmons, when he was on the 76ers, they relied on him scoring at least 20 to 25 points a game, along with Embiid giving you 30. This Nets team is just different, man. They're going all the way, if you ask me. The Eastern Conference is very competitive, though. You've got teams like the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the 76ers. But I really think that when this Nets team is playing as good as they have been as of late, there's no team that could beat them in a 7-game series. Every single player on this team was on fire against the Golden State Warriors, and Kyrie Irving wasn't even playing. They had scored a franchise-best 91 points in the first half. Just think about that for a second. There's not one player on that team that was missing shots. Everyone was lights out. That offense was just electric. Having a guy like Joe Harris and then bringing in Seth Curry a year ago has helped this team's offense so much. If KD is getting double teamed, he can pass the ball out to one of those two guys and they will hit that three because that's just how they are. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the Nets for the rest of this season, and I really think that this team can win a championship this year. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this video, and with that being said, if you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and I'm out of here. Peace.